In January 2026, a single crypto wallet on a platform called Polymarket turned $313 into $438,000 in 1 month. It didn't call Bitcoin's direction, it didn't get lucky, it executed a mathematical strategy thousands of times, a strategy that guarantees a profit whenever a specific pricing condition exists in a market. It ran on a bot, built with AI. Now before I show you how to build one, I'm going to tell you what most people making videos about this won't. 92.4% of Polymarket wallets lose money. The average window to exploit a basic arbitrage in 2024 was 12.3 seconds. In Q1 2026, that number has dropped to 2.7 seconds, and 73% of all arbitrage profits now go to bots executing in under 100 milliseconds. That's not a reason to walk away. That's the reason you need to understand exactly what's happening, and why using Claude AI to build your system correctly from day one puts you in a position to actually compete. While most people are still copying YouTube tutorials that are already outdated, this video is the real guide. We're going to cover the actual math behind how this works, which specific strategies are still generating returns in 2026, and a complete walkthrough of how to deploy your own arbitrage bot using Claude Code, including wallet setup, API authentication, the scanner logic, and the risk management layer that most guides skip entirely. Let's get into it. Polymarket is a decentralized prediction market built on the Polygon blockchain settled in USDC. The basic structure is simple. An event will happen in the future. Say, will Bitcoin close higher in the next 15 minutes? And you can buy a yes contract or a no contract. Each contract is priced between $0 and $1, reflecting the market's estimated probability of that outcome. When the market resolves, the correct side pays out $1. The wrong side pays out $0. In a perfectly efficient market, yes plus no must always equal exactly $1.0, because one of them is definitionally going to be true, and the guaranteed total payout is $1.0. But markets are not always efficient, and when yes plus no is less than $1, the difference is mathematically guaranteed profit. If yes is priced at $0.45 and no is priced at $0.52, the combined cost is $0.97. You buy one of each, you spend $0.97, one side resolves to $1. You collect $1. You made $0.03 with zero directional risk because you own both sides. That's the foundation. And between April 2024 and April 2025, researchers at the IMDEA Networks Institute documented over $40 million in verified profits extracted from Polymarket, using variations of this approach across 86 million analyzed trades. The reason this opportunity exists at all, and continues to exist, is that prediction markets are built on human psychology. People rush to buy a side when news breaks. They sell early to lock in partial gains. They anchor to round numbers. Every one of those behaviors creates pricing inefficiencies that a systematic, emotionless bot can exploit. Let me be direct about the current competitive landscape. Simple yes-no spread arbitrage, finding markets where two prices sum to less than $1 and buying both, is largely dead for anyone not running dedicated Polygon nodes with sub-100 millisecond execution. The median spread is compressed from 4.5% in 2023 to 0.3% in 2026. After taker fees, most of these opportunities are no longer profitable for retail builders. But here's what the data also shows. 27% of bot-generated profits on Polymarket in 2026 come from strategies that aren't pure price arbitrage. Sophisticated traders have moved on, and these strategies are still accessible. Strategy 1. NegRisk arbitrage. This is the most structurally sound opportunity still available to individual builders, and one independent researcher documented it generating a 36% ROI and extracting $29 million from Polymarket in a single year. Here's how it works. Multi-outcome markets, election primaries with multiple candidates. Which team wins the championship with 8 options, have a structural rule. The yes prices across all candidates must sum to exactly $1 because exactly one candidate will win. When they don't sum to $1, and specifically when they sum to less than $1, you can buy a yes share in every candidate and one of them will pay out $1. You're not predicting who wins, you're exploiting the fact that whoever wins pays $1.0 and your total cost was less than that. An automated scanner built with Claude Code, found 182 of these opportunities across 440 multi-outcome market groups in a single scan. The largest was a Vermont Governor Democratic primary, where the YES prices summed to only $0.70, a 43% guaranteed return on that position. These aren't millisecond windows, they can persist for hours. This is where individual builders still have a real edge. Strategy 2. Near resolution harvesting. When a market is hours or days from resolving and one outcome is essentially certain, priced at $0.95 to $0.999, retail traders frequently sell early to lock in their gains rather than wait for final settlement. This creates consistent buying opportunities for patient, systematic traders. You buy at $0.96. The market resolves to $1.00. You made $0.04 with no prediction required. You're not betting on anything, you're buying something that is already effectively certain. Across many such positions, this compounds steadily. The risk is real but narrow, a sports call that gets overturned, a last-minute legal challenge on a political market. You manage this by sticking to a defined list of market types and keeping position sizes proportionate to certainty. Strategy 3. Information speed trading. This is the most sophisticated approach still accessible to individual builders using AI. The core concept is this: when breaking news changes the probability of an event, Polymarket prices take time to reprice. The information exists before the market reflects it. That window is tradable. One documented workflow runs a multi-model AI ensemble. Claude receives a news event, evaluates source credibility, and assigns a probability estimate. That estimate is compared to the current Polymarket price. If the gap is 10 percentage points or more, meaning Claude thinks the probability is 68% and the market shows 54%, that's a tradable edge that doesn't depend on execution speed. It depends on information quality. One builder documented 47 out of 20 in profit in 24 hours on BTC 5-minute markets using this approach. Not life-changing money, but it was generated at 3 a.m. while the builder was asleep. That's the point. The system runs. You review the logs. I want to pause here. Before we build anything, you need to understand the full picture. The wallet that turned $313 into $438,000, that's documented on-chain data. It's real. It also exploited a specific latency vulnerability in Polymarket's 15-minute crypto markets that has since been eliminated through dynamic fee changes implemented in March 2026. That exact strategy is no longer replicable. The top traders on Polymarket, Theo4 with $22 million in verified profits, Freddy9999 with $16 million, have institutional-grade infrastructure, capital in the hundreds of thousands, and proprietary information networks. They are not your competition if you're starting with $500. Your competition is inefficient markets that still exist. And they do still exist, because Polymarket processes $44 billion in annual volume across thousands of markets and human beings price most of them. NegRisk imbalances are found consistently. Near-resolution windows appear every day. The realistic expectations: experienced systematic traders report 1% to 3% monthly returns on capital deployed in market-making and low-risk arbitrage strategies. That's 12% to 36% annualized. Better than most investment vehicles, without predicting anything. One Polymarket veteran put it simply: if you invest $10,000 and run dozens of these trades daily, the annualized return can be astonishing. The risk management rules we're going to build into this system are the difference between compounding those returns and blowing up your starting capital on one bad trade. Don't skip that section. Here is the complete prerequisite list. Work through these before we open Claude Code. 1. Claude Code. You need either the Pro plan at $20 a month or Max at $100 a month from Claude.ai. Claude Code installs as a global NPM package. Open your terminal and run. NPM install. Age, Anthropic AI, Claude Code. Confirm Node.js is installed first. After installation, authenticate with your Anthropic account. 2. A Polygon-compatible wallet. MetaMask with the Polygon network added works perfectly. This wallet will hold your trading capital. 3. USDC-E on Polygon. This is bridged USDC, not native USDC. Polymarket uses USDC.E specifically. Bridge from Ethereum using the Polygon bridge, or deposit directly from an exchange that supports Polygon network withdrawals. Binance and Coinbase both support direct Polygon deposits. 4. Pol for gas. Polygon's native token for gas fees. Transactions on Polygon cost fractions of a cent, but you need some PL to execute them. Buy $5 worth. That will last months. 5. Python 3.9 or higher. Python 3 version. If you don't have it, download from python.org. 6. A VPS for 24/7 operation. Optional to start. DigitalOcean's basic droplet at $6 a month keeps the bot running after you close your laptop. You can develop locally and deploy later. Critical note on wallet setup. Polymarket uses a proxy wallet address for trading that is separate from your connected MetaMask. When you first sign into Polymarket and click Cache, there's a 3-dot menu where you can export your private key. That private key belongs to your trading proxy, and it's what your bot uses. Store it only in your .env file. Never put it directly in code. Never commit it to GitHub. Open your terminal, create a new project folder, and navigate into it. mkdir Polymarket bot cd Polymarket bot Claude Code launches in your terminal. The first thing you're going to do is create a CLOUDE.md file. This is a markdown file in your project root that gives Claude persistent context across every session. Without it, Claude starts fresh each time and repeats the same early mistakes. Your CLOUDE.md should define what the project is, what the architecture looks like, what the risk rules are, and what the current status is after each session. Here's a working template. This file means every new Claude Code session begins with full context. You never explain the project from scratch again. Let me walk you through the actual build sessions. The prompts matter. Vague prompts produce vague code. Specific structured prompts produce working modules. Build the Gamma API client as defined in Claude.md. It should fetch all active markets from the Polymarket Gamma API endpoint. Handle rate limiting with exponential backoff. Parse the response into a clean Python data structure, and print a summary of how many markets were found. Use requests library. Store the API base URL in .env. Claude will scaffold the module. When it's done, test it. Python, src gamma, client.py. Read Claude.md, gamma client.py is working. Now build scanner PI. It should. 1. Call the Gamma API to get all active markets. 2. Group markets by event ID to identify multi-outcome groups. 3. For each group with 3 or more outcomes, sum the yes prices. 4. Flag any group where yes sum is below 0.97. 5. Output opportunities sorted by gap size, showing event name, number of outcomes, yes sum, and estimated profit at $100 position size. 6. Write opportunities to opportunities.json. The 0.97 threshold gives you a 3% buffer over cost after fees. Real viable NegRisk opportunities tend to be larger gaps. 10%, 20%, sometimes more. The scanner is finding them and ranking them. You decide which to act on. When this works, run it and look at the output. You will find real opportunities. That's a working arbitrage scanner. Read Claude.md scanner works. Now build CLOB client.py. Connect to Polymarket's CLOB API using PI CLOB client version 0.29.0 or higher. Set up L1 authentication using the EIP712 wallet signature from the private key in .nv. Generate L2 HMAC credentials, API key, secret passphrase from the wallet signature and store them in .env. Build a function to check USDC.e-balance. Build a function to get the order book for a given token ID. Do not build order placement yet. Authentication is the most complex part of the CLOB integration. The PI CLOB client library handles the cryptographic signing, but Claude needs to wire it correctly to your .env structure. Test balance checking before anything else. Python, src CLOB.client.py. Expected output, USDC.e-balance. x.xx. Read Claude.md. Build riskmanager.py. It must enforce 4 rules. 1. Fetch current Polygon gas price using web3.py and calculate the matic cost of the required number of transactions for a trade. Abort if gas makes the trade unprofitable. 2. Enforce a hard maximum of $50 per position, rejecting any trade that would exceed this. 3. Track daily P&L by reading the trade log. If cumulative daily loss exceeds $100, set a trading halted flag and block all execution for the rest of the calendar day. 4. Log every decision, approved or rejected, with timestamp. reason, opportunity details, and calculated gas cost. A developer who ran a systematic review of their trading bot using a 5-agent Claude Code review found that their strategy had a positive 60% win rate but negative P&L because of large losses on the 40% of losing trades. The risk module is specifically what prevents that scenario. Small wins must be larger in total than the losses. The risk module enforces the structure. Read CLOUDE.md. Build, trade, reviewer.pe. After each batch of markets resolves, this script should read the trade log JSON, identify positions that have resolved, calculate actual P&L versus expected P&L for each, compute win rate, and average return by strategy type, identify any patterns in losing trades, and append a lessons.md file with specific rule adjustments. For example, NegRisk opportunities below 5% gap have negative expected value after fees. Raise minimum threshold. On startup, scanner.py should read lessons.md and apply any threshold adjustments it contains. This is what separates a static bot from an adaptive one. It gets better. Every week of operation produces data. That data updates the rules. The rules improve the next week's performance. This is how professional trading operations work, and Claude Code makes it accessible to individual builders. Before you fund this with real USDC, run it in paper trading mode for a minimum of 2 weeks. Paper trading means the scanner runs, the risk manager evaluates every opportunity, the logger records what the bot would have done, but no actual orders are placed. You review the logs every day. You look at what the bot would have bought, what the outcomes were, and whether the strategy is generating positive expected value. If after 2 weeks the paper results are negative, something in the strategy or risk parameters needs adjusting before real money is involved. If results are positive, you fund it, starting small. This is not optional advice. This is the discipline that separates builders who learn from builders who lose their starting capital and quit. Once paper trading validates the system, deploying to a VPS is straightforward. On DigitalOcean, create a basic droplet running Ubuntu, SSH and set up your environment. Sudo apt update, sudo apt install Python 3 pip get ygit clone, https github.com your repo, Polymarket bot. Git cd Polymarket bot pip3 install r requirements.ext cp.env.example.env nano.env. Fill in your credentials. Use screen to keep it running after you disconnect. Screen S Polymarket Python 3 main.py. Press Ctrl+A. Then D to detach. Screen R Polymarket to reconnect. Add a Telegram alert. Claude Code can build this in one session. When the scanner finds an opportunity above your configured threshold, it sends your phone a message. You see it, check the logs, and decide whether to approve execution manually or let the automated layer handle it. For the first month of live operation, manual approval on anything above $25 is a sensible rule. Let me step back and say something about what we've actually done here. We used an AI system to design, write, test, debug, and deploy a financial automation system that monitors thousands of markets simultaneously, identifies mathematical pricing inefficiencies, manages risk according to rules we had defined, logs every decision, and learns from its own performance over time. That system runs while you sleep. It doesn't get emotional when it loses. It doesn't overtrade when it wins. It executes the discipline you built into it. Now, is this going to make you a millionaire? The honest answer is, probably not quickly, and not without careful management. The traders making life-changing money on Polymarket have capital, infrastructure, and information advantages that take time to build. But the methodology, systematic strategy, defined risk rules, feedback loops, automated execution, that is the foundation that all profitable trading operations are built on, and you just built a version of it. More importantly, you just learned how to think about and build automated systems using AI. That skill transfers. Trading bots are one application. The same approach works for content automation, lead generation, market research, customer service, any workflow that involves repetitive decision-making against data. Claude Code isn't a tool that writes code for you and hands it back. It's a tool that lets you build systems that would have taken a software engineer weeks to write, and then helps you iterate on them. That's the capability shift this generation needs to understand. The bot is the homework, the methodology is the lesson. The resources, the PyClob client documentation, the Polymarket Gamma API reference, the Claude.md template, are all linked in the description. Read them. Don't just copy prompts from this video. Understand what each piece is doing and why. If you ran into a problem building this, or if something in your setup behaved differently from what I showed, drop a comment. This channel is about doing this stuff in the real world, and real-world builds always have edge cases. The next video covers Claude Code work, Anthropic's AI agent system for non-developers, which runs on the same engine as Claude Code, but is built for knowledge workers. If you do anything with files, documents, email, or data at your job, that video is going to change how you work. Subscribe if this was useful. See you there. Polymarket is a decentralized prediction market built on the Polygon blockchain, settled in USDC. Run Python src jas gamma client.py. You'll see something like, fetched 3,247 active markets. Your CLOUDE.md should define what the project is, what the architecture looks like, what the risk rules are, and what the current status is after each session.